The following game was played between Carlsen Magnus and Kamsky Gata Black. It was played in the Sinequefield Cup of 2013, in which these were the chess pieces used in that tournament. In reality, they were used also in the 2014 Cup, because this was the fourth Cup, the one in 2013 and the one in 14, the second one, with different players. Carlsen was white, Kamsky was black. Carlsen starts with knight f3, knight f6, c4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, a6, and e3. So my goal is to watch all the games of those two tournaments using the original pieces that were used in the time. Here, this is an annoying move to face. There are many other possibilities, and probably the most important is the c5, okay? To which generally Kamsky plays g6. So this position, this opening has happened many times to Kamsky. After e3, Kamsky replies with bishop f5, a surprise. Other moves have been tried, there is also b5, but honestly I don't want to give a big commentary on the opening, because as we know it's a mess. Obviously it's an ocean to learn, right? In any case, Carlsen continue with bishop d3, bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, e6, castle, and bishop b4. Most players have rejected this as a dubious idea. Magnus took a long time trying to figure out how to get an advantage after this. Now generally is played bishop e7, okay? So how did Carlsen continue here? If you would like to discover for yourself, try to pause the video and see if you are like Carlsen, that you can find the right move to play in this situation. Carlsen continued with bishop d2, to which black played bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, castle, a4, knight bd7, a5, knight e4, bishop b4, so he doesn't want to exchange the bishop, rook e8, and rook a1. So white holds a very slight advantage because his position has more space, and it's more obvious on what exactly to do. Mainly it is to remove the knight from f3 and push f3. So it means to remove the knight from e4. Okay, how does Kamsky continue at this point? What do you think Kamsky played? Because you see, this is the thing. Generally I ask you question about white position or the player on that side, because you can see it better on YouTube, right? But in order to be complete as a player, especially when you play a tournament game, you need to guess what your opponent will play and why, because that will help to prophylax your opponent, right? To prevent your opponent from doing something you don't like. In this case, Kamsky continued with h5. It seems that he took a long time thinking about this move, and Carlsen seemed to have a confused look on his face when he saw it. So Carlsen didn't imagine this move either. Okay? Knight e5, because the idea is to kick away this. Queen c7, knight takes d7, and queen takes d7. And now there is queen e2. It seems he could have played maybe f3 right away. Knight f6, rook f d1, queen c7, h3, rook a d8, and now there is b3 and rook d7. At this point, it seems that black has enough space to continue to maneuver inside without doing nothing. Like I mentioned in a previous video, I think today's chess players, they have mastered this idea of moving the pieces, improving the position, or just moving without doing nothing, because they have learned it from the computer. The computer often just try to defend its own pieces, and that's it. And wait that you do something that is wrong, and then he will punish you. He or it or she, I don't know the computer gender, so obviously it's just a question of comfort to use he, not because I think the computer is a he. Okay? Okay, so after this, what happened? After rook d7, right? What happened? It happened rook c2, queen d8, rook c1, h4, bishop e1, knight e4, queen g4, and g5. Kamsky is in no mood to let Carlsen slowly wrap his army around the weak h4 pawn. Instead, he will create space on the king side and push back white's pieces. Kamsky was beginning to fall dangerously low on the clock around this time. And yes, this is the problem, right, in chess. But time is a factor, and so if you go down in time, you have a problem. How did white continue here? He played c takes d5. Black continued with f5, queen f3, and c takes d5. It was possible also to play this, okay? So that was an interesting take. Rook c2, rook g7, rook d c1, knight f6. Probably here Kamsky should have played this, but as you can see, it's very difficult in a game to have the right move, to find the right move. Queen d1, because instead the computer finds it always, so it's a little strange. g4 and f3. An amazing move. Suddenly the counter-attack on the weak h4 pawn is strong, and black must decide exactly how to proceed with the kingside initiative. as if it is mishandled, white already enjoys the c-file and some strong positional advantages, so you must be careful what to do here. Black continue with g takes h3, bishop takes h4, and here there is a mistake by Kamsky that should have played h take g2, instead he played king f7. Try to find what Carlsen played in this position, because yes, it's in fact a very interesting move, I think. Okay, he played queen e1. It's very powerful, and now white is winning. H take g2, rook c7, rook e7, bishop takes f6, a nice move, obviously, king takes f6, and now there is rook c8, queen d6, queen h4 check, king f7, queen h5, and now there is rook g6. So now again I tell you, try to find the white move, because this is a typical endgame, how do you call it, situation, let's say. It's a typical theme, endgame theme, that happens over and over, okay? So it's something that you need to think about it, because it makes you win the game. So white played f4. Most accurate, black is in a sort of zugzwang, which is the theme, and his position will fall apart faster than with the immediate queen h8. Okay, so what did black play? After f4, he played queen a3, queen h8, rook g7, queen h5, rook g6, queen h8. Notice when he started to play queen h8, it was move 39. Now we are at move 41, which means in some cases the time control is like 90 minutes, and then you have 30 minutes after move 40, and so this is the reason of a repetition. Not because they wanted to draw or white wanted to draw, but because it gained time. Okay, rook g7, and now he played the real move he wanted to play all along 3 moves ago, and he just played it now because he probably gained half an hour on the clock. King g6, and now there is a beautiful move by white, which is low but fatal for black. King takes g2. And now you, as white, you really need to think well and find the checkmate sequence, otherwise you're going to really have a problem, okay? So rook g, f7, queen d8, rook h7, rook g1, queen a2 check, king f3 check, king f6, queen g8, obviously the threat is queen g6 checkmate, rook h3, rook g3, rook takes g3, and queen takes g3, and it's game over, I think. Yeah. And now black is completely defenseless against the threats. Okay, so this is the end of the game. As you can see, the material is equal, so sometimes we cannot evaluate a position from the material side, but we need to evaluate the position from the fact that here there is a possible checkmate. Okay, so that's what you need to know about. Just to make you an example, okay, let's see what was the last move. It was queen takes g3, okay, and I don't know, let's say that white makes the silly move, right? It's a silly move, but it's possible. Well, check and checkmate. So as you can see, you need to train your checkmate angle capacity to visualize, because otherwise you are going to have a big problem. And also here you cannot play this because this solve the problem, right? If you play this once more, and if you don't play that and you try to escape, well, I don't think you're going very, very far. But again, it's a beautiful game that we were allowed to rewatch after like 11 years. So this is the pity, in a sense, that today tournaments, they appear, people consume them through YouTube or live Twitch or whatever live, but then they are forgotten. Instead, here there is a printout because I got it from Checksbase, but the thing is, you could have a book, and instead you don't have it. Because in the past there were really books about tournaments, and now maybe they are not convenient anymore as to make a book, because it's a lot of work, nobody even read it. Terrible thing. Thank you very much for watching, and again we will little by little watch all the games played in the Sinequefield Cup that have used these beautiful imperial knights. Thank you for watching.